You like my hat in the background photo? I dressed up for this. Listen, please be respectful when you go to the mountains. I'm talking about Colorado and Wyoming in general. But if you visit BLM land or the National Forest land, please be respectful. Don't be an asshole. How do I define an asshole camper or asshole visitor to the National Forest? How do I define that? How do you know if you're an asshole? Well, here you go. I'm going to give you 7 things in no particular order or rank. If you do any of these 7, you're an asshole. You ready? Here we go. And I'm not going to edit this, by the way, and like try to clip it out. So if I mess up or read something wrong, I'm just going to keep going. Number 1, if you leave trash, I'd like to come across somebody leaving trash behind at a campsite. If I ever personally see somebody do this, I'm going to guess my wife will have to bail me out of jail. If you leave trash in the national forest, including the toilet paper that you wipe with, you're an asshole. Number 2, if you don't put your campfire dead out, pour water on it, pour dirt on it, stir it up, touch it with your hands, make sure it's not hot. If people don't start managing this properly, it's going to ruin it for all of us. And eventually, nobody's going to have a campfire, which, by the way, is one of the most spiritual and special things about camping. If you don't put your campfire dead out, you're an asshole. Number 3, camping near somebody when dispersed camping. Dispersed camping, not at one of the paid sites, but National Forest land, BLM land. If you camp near somebody that's, in a dispersed area, you're probably an asshole. Here's a news flash for you. If you see somebody that went down a national forest road or piece of BLM land far away from anyone else, that means they're looking for solidarity, peace, and quiet. They didn't venture out all that way and seek out that perfect camp spot just to have you camp next to them with your 2 barking dogs and screaming kids and drunk friends. When you see a Jeep that's made its way to a remote, isolated area, keep going. Don't stop. Don't camp next to them or camp across the road. Okay. If you do this, you're an asshole. Number 4, gunfire, target practice, and shooting your guns. Listen, here's the deal. I own guns. I take weapons with me when I go to the mountains. And from time to time, I'll pull out my weapon for a tad, 10 minutes maybe, and target practice. But if you're one of those people that goes up to the national forest and shoots your guns for hours at a time, you're an asshole. Keep in mind that the noise can be heard for miles. It's annoying as hell and can absolutely ruin a weekend outing for others. If you're firing weapons for hours at a time, like you're in some sort of shooting range, then you're an asshole. Number 5, ATVs. Like guns, I own ATVs and I often take them with me when I go to the mountains. But here are some rules I follow. I slow down when I see others. I don't ride up into and get close to campsites that are occupied. And I don't act like the national forest roads are some sort of speedway. Slow down and have some respect for others. You're going to kill somebody. If you're driving like crazy in the mountains with your ATV, you're an asshole. Number 6, music. Even if you're in a dispersed area, if you're booming your loud hip hop music with lots of bass, I can assure you that that's ruining the moment and trip for somebody else that can hear it. Remember, people are going to the mountains for peace and quiet, the nature and the experience. They're not coming up there to listen to your music. Sure, play a little music, have some fun with your friends, but think about others that might be near you. In fact, drive up the road to see who else might be around or who else is camped near you. If you play loud music for hours at a time in the national forest, you're an asshole. Number 7, dogs. Don't let your dogs bark uncontrollably. It can be heard from a long distance and it's annoying to others. Sure, dogs bark from time to time. I get it. I have dogs. I take my dogs with me sometimes. But letting it go on all day is rude and selfish to others. And for certain, if you leave a dog at a site unattended to bark nonstop while you go off on your ATV for hours, if you do that, you're an asshole. And there are my top 7. Feel free to add to this list.